Isn't it about time for somebody's favorite radio program?
Well, I'm not a crook. It's called personality, Dick.
Hi, Dick. Dick, the gentlemen are here.
It's time for the Dick Schaefer Show.
Let up, will you, Dick? I could sand that for you, Dick.
970 KDSF.
Good luck, Dick.
Pure Dragon Sports Talk affiliate.
Gee, Dick, now you gave away the ending.
Hope you don't mind, Dick.
With all due respect, Mr. Dick.
Come on, Dick, you said you wouldn't tease.
You don't know Dick.
970 KDSF, your home for UWFFL and GSL coverage. This is Dick Schaefer. It's the Dick Schaefer Show, welcoming you in here on a Friday afternoon. We've got a lot going on in the world of sports. The NBA Finals are even at 2 games. We got Game 5 coming up tomorrow night. And Phoenix and Milwaukee. How did they get these teams, Phoenix and Milwaukee, in there?
I guess they won in the playoffs.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't follow. I mean, I haven't followed it as much. And you don't want to be one of these bandwagon guys that, you know, only when Michael Jordan's playing or only when LeBron James is playing. But I just have no interest. I mean, yeah, Antetokounmpo, I get it. I mean, whatever. Phoenix, now I will say, last year going into the bubble, the 2020 finals, I was real high on Phoenix, and I think I said, if we could pull the tape, I think I said, look for Phoenix next year. They're going to be strong. But I just don't care now. I don't know. I don't want to get all into that. We got a lot going on today. The British Open also going on. Louis Oosthuizen with a good round today as they get into the weekend. And ordinarily we would be talking more golf on a week of a major championship. It's just been an unusual year. You know, things getting back to normal after the COVID. Phil Mickelson and John Rahm and I guess Moriyanku or Matsuyama, the Japanese kid, won the Masters. And I don't know. It's just we're trying to get into this with the British Open, but it's not. It's just everything's different nowadays. I don't know. But anyway, we don't have time to mess with all that because coming up today we got a very special show. As you know, we are one of the partners in the UWFFL, and we've got, how do I say his name? Holecko? Rob Holecko, the commissioner of the UWFFL.
I think it's Holecko.
Holecko? Okay, so he is going to be here in the studio. And now explain this again to me, Dickman. What?
Yeah, well, they're actually gonna simulate the rest of the fall 2020 season.
See, okay, so this is something we were talking about on a previous show. These leagues, these GSL leagues and these UWFFL and the XFL and the USFL, all these leagues, these aren't real football leagues. These are simulation leagues.
I think the XFL is real.
All right, the XFL maybe. I've seen games with the XFL. But there's something funky going on because it's all different teams. I remember when the XFL was the Hitmen and the Bruisers 20 years ago, it lasted 1 year. And now we're just going to bring it back, and then they canceled it. And then you had the AAF, and I'm so confused. Now the USFL is coming back, right?
That is my understanding.
All right, the USFL is coming back. Now, is it going to be simulation, or is it going to be real football?
I'm not entirely sure.
And I hear they're going to use some of the same teams. All right. Well, at any rate, so the GSL and the UWFFL is simulation football.
Now, what does that mean?
Okay, so it's not actually. I mean, it is. They're playing football, but it's not. It's how can I? I'm having a hard time explaining it, like within the third wall. Maybe Mr. Holecko can explain it a little better. But so it's something to do with dice, and they simulate the outcomes. But there are players. I mean, there are real teams and uniforms and stadiums, and it's very confusing, But we're gonna have him in here, and so apparently, so they've been trying to get this 2020 season done, and they've been behind. That's a good shot. Wow. Oh, I thought it was going to go in. I'm sorry. We're watching the British Open here. We got the British Open on the screen here as we are recording this. And so they simulated the fall 2020 season, and they tell me they're going to be ready to go with the 2021 season coming up, and it's going to be done in real time. Now, I don't know if that's going to be simulation or they're just simulating. Maybe they're just simulating because the season they're trying to get caught up. So there's the Division 2, which they've already pretty much got done, and then there's the Continental League,
and the Premier League, the main league.
All right, and then now what's this? Now you're doing the Union Cup, right?
Well, I report on the Union Cup. We're doing the Union Cup, which is like a postseason tournament for all the teams, but that don't make the Champions League.
Now, what is the Champions League? Okay, never mind. We'll bring Mr. Holecko in a little bit. I do have one other little thing I want to mention here real quick. I was reading this. I saw a tweet. This guy tweeted that, would you believe that 1982 is closer to today is closer to 1942 than it is to today? And he linked to an article, and so apparently if you were born, I guess this guy's in his mid-40s, so he remembers 1982 as a little kid. And it totally blew his mind that 1982 is 39 years ago, but 1981 is 40 years ago, and 1942 is only 39 years from 1981 to 42. So, to him, 42 was like ancient history, because that was like FDR and Yalta and the war, but he's lived. So the whole point of the article was that at whatever point you are, the last 40 years or whatever, the oldest you can remember, that time that has flown since then is going to seem a lot shorter than how far back before that.
What?
All right, let me give you an example. Dickman, how old are you?
I'm 25.
So you were born in 1996?
Right, yeah.
All right, so what's the earliest that you remember?
Well, when I was before school, I remember being a little kid, and I remember when the planes came down. There was the thing with the terrorism, and
you mean 9/11?
No, not 9/11. I'm talking about when the terrorists, when they flew the airplanes into the World Trade Center. I remember I remember one day I was. My mom, we were watching the TV all day long. That's all that was on the news.
And that's the earliest you remember. So that's 9/11.
No, I'm not talking about 9/11. I'm talking about the World Trade Center.
Oh, that is 9/11. All right. So anyway, that's the oldest you remember, right?
Yeah.
All right. So that was, okay, so 2001. That's 20 years ago.
Yeah.
No, yeah, it is. That was 2001.
Okay, maybe we're talking about two different things, because 9/11 was 2001. I'm talking about when the World Trade Center went down and the buildings collapsed.
All right, Greg, I'm not going to argue with you. So 2001 was 20 years ago, okay? So if you go one more year, you go 19 years before that, it would be, 19 from 1, 1982.
Okay.
So the point being that someone of your age would think 1982 is ancient. How come I just dropped into Greg's voice? I'm trying to tell you. So 1982 would be like ancient history for you.
I guess.
Okay, I don't know. Maybe this is a stupid thing. Let's do it for you. What do you mean? Let's do it for me.
Well, what's the oldest you remember?
I remember when I was a kid, the Cleveland Rams were playing the Chicago Bears in the NFL championship game. No, wait, I went to that game. No, I remember that. I was as an adult. It's a little foggy, but let's say 1938.
1938.
Well, I remember when we didn't have nothing to eat that one year, and that was the Depression. It was 29. Well, I definitely remember 1938. I'm not going to get it. I remember 1938.
Okay, so 38 was how many years?
So 80, that would be 83 years. 83 years, 38 to 21 would be 80 and 83 years. Okay. All right, so 83 years before 1938 would be what? I don't know. I guess 1855. All right, so you're saying that, believe it or not, 1938 is closer to 1855 than it is to 2021. I mean, yeah, I believe that. I don't know. All right, this is a waste. I just wasted 10 minutes. This whole thing was stupid. But, I mean, I see the guy's point, but we got bigger fish to fry here. UWFFL coming up. We got Rob Holecko after this. You're listening to the Dick Schaefer History Podcast, I guess. The Dick Schaefer Show, yeah. 970 KDSF, your home for UWFFL and wine cellar coverage. All right.
Hey everybody, it's your buddy Jake Akbayavi, back once again for your favorite place and my favorite place too, Margot's High Class Palace. Now it's hotter than two rabbits. Wait, I can't use that euphemism. It is that freaking hot outside. Seriously, I can't go outside without sweating buckets. Now, one thing you'll do over at Margot's High Class Palace is save buckets of money when you shop there. Holy crap, it is hot outside sale. They've got suits, seersucker suits, sundresses for the ladies, and light-fitting evening gowns for when you need to go out on the town. You really need something that's not really heavy right now. And also, they've got a whole slew of selection of, that's right, summer cummerbunds. It's my favorite, holy cow. Those are some nice-looking cummerbunds. So head on over to Margot's High Class Palace and shop at the Holy Crap, it is so hot outside summer sale. And tell them your buddy Jake Akbayavi sent you. And when you tell them Jake sent you, you'll save an extra 10% off their already basement bottom prices. It's Margot's High Class Palace.
.970 KDSF, your home for GSL and UWFFL coverage. This is Dick Schaefer. It's the Dick Schaefer Show. As I mentioned in the opening segment, we've got a little bit of a different show for you today. We're going to get us all caught up on the UWFFL Fall 2020 simulation season. They're simulating it to try to get caught up. The UWFFL will be starting for real. This isn't real. This is real. I mean, it's simulated real. But the 2020 is getting caught up after the fact, so it's like simulated real. It's still real, but it's simulated, but it's also catch-up simulated. And so it's kind of like we're rolling the dice, no pun intended, trying to get caught up so that we can take off, the fall season can kick off in real time. Now, the GSL is going to be a spring league, is a spring league now, and it is into their semifinals. This weekend, this Sunday, is the conference championships, and Norfolk is going to play Pennsylvania in one semifinal. And now Pennsylvania went 18-1. They're only lost to Baltimore in May. They are the favorites now, but at 3:30 at Beaver Stadium, the Keystones will be hosting the Norfolk Commanders. And then the Western Conference Championship, we're going to have Memphis and Arizona face off in Glendale, Arizona at 6:30 p.m. The winners of those games will head to Gridiron Bowl 1. Memphis beat Oakland in the last round, and Arizona beat San Antonio. And then in the East, Norfolk and Pennsylvania. Norfolk defeated the Louisville Lightning 26-17, and the Pennsylvania Keystones defeated the Cincinnati Knights in their divisional playoff game. So that's the GSL. They're playing their conference championship games this weekend, and that's Sunday. And the winners will go to Gridiron Bowl. But the UWFFL Bowl, like I said, is playing catch up here, trying to get this fall 2020 season done. And it's been one thing after another, a lot going on, and it's been a little helter skelter here. But they're going to try to get it caught up. Now they have gone through their Division II playoffs, and they had the championship game. The Division II teams, we're at the Relegation Bowl and the Promotion Bowl. The Promotion Bowl will be in. Well, did we have that? I don't know. So, Greg, now what's going on with this week with the Drew Abernathy? You were supposed to be editing this. It's been a couple weeks now. We're behind, and this is kind of why we're doing this special episode. We want to get everything caught up and find out what's been going on. I never got around to editing it because we had the highlights, the most recent UWFFL action in Week 18 of the GSL, and then Week 18 became Week 19, and then it was the wild card round, and so the GSL is on schedule, and they keep going, and I've been focusing all my time flying around the country covering these Union Cup games. Oh, really? Yeah, I'm sorry, man. I can only do so much. You guys are putting so much stress on me, guys. All right. Well, calm down. So what do we got? Well, I got some segments here. We flagged a couple of these that we're going to play, and this will get us caught up on the UWFFL, and then Mr. Holecko is going to come in, and we'll take it from there. All right, so what's the first segment you want to play? All right, this is from the unaired episode of this week with the Simulations leagues of Drew Abernathy, and this is a segment. Well, let me just play it. All right, here it is. This week with Drew Abernathy. Hit it.
You've got it locked into This Week in the Simulation Leagues, brought to you by Yeti's Himalayan Hut, and I'm your host, Drew Abernathy. Glad to have you back. Get out your scorecards, your flow charts, your spider web of yarn that you have on your wall that connects all the newspaper clippings to one suspect, which is probably the Bilderbergs. Maybe not, as to how the Continental League playoffs are going to happen. One thing we do know is, number one and
all right, hold on, stop it right there. So we're doing the Continental League first? I just picked one, I didn't know. All right, so let's set this up, though, before he gives the show away. So so the Continental League was going into their final week is where we were, right? That is right. We were at week. We completed 10 of 11 games. Oklahoma and Miami were at 9-2 or 8-2. No, I don't even have it in front of me now. Oklahoma was, I think, 9-1, and Miami was 8-2, and then you had a whole bunch of other teams fighting for. Just let them wrap up week 11, then we'll know where we're at. All right, go ahead, bring it back in.
We'll have a bye week for the first week of the playoffs. 3 will face 6, and 4 will face 5. You know, the traditional kind of NFL-style football playoff system that they've used in years past. Now, let's break this on down. You have a 2-way tie for 5th place to see who'll have a higher seeding, maybe an easier go to get into the next round of the playoffs. Maybe an easy go. So if Texas wins and Phoenix loses, Texas is in the 5th spot. So how did the teams do? So Texas was able to defeat Dallas 38-24. Now, if Phoenix won despite a Texas loss because of the head-to-head back in week 3 or game 3, Phoenix is still in. Even with a Texas win, Phoenix still gets in at number 5 as opposed to being in at number 6. It took a Phoenix loss for them to be at 6. So will Texas have that number 5 seed? Well, the final for the game between Phoenix and Austin was 36-16. Phoenix over the Austin Rattlers. Holy cow. Phoenix comes into the number 5 spot, and that means Texas will go down to the number 6, and they will face the number 3 squad. And the 2 teams that were coming in at a tie for number 3 were Tampa and Connecticut. Due to a week 4 win by Tampa, that means even with a Connecticut win, Tampa is in the number 3 spot. But if Tampa loses, That means Connecticut leapfrogs Tampa into that number 3 position. So how do the two teams fare? So first, let's go to see how the game played out between Connecticut and Chicago. Connecticut defeated Chicago 38-9. And that means if Tampa loses, Connecticut leapfrogs into that 3rd spot. And if Tampa loses, that means Oklahoma City has a better shot at the number 1 spot in the Continental Championships. Winning 27-22, it was Tampa over Oklahoma City. Now, this starts to shake things up at the very top because there are 2 teams that are notched for number 1 in the Continental League. That was Miami and Oklahoma City. Now, we know Oklahoma City lost. If Miami loses, that really gets a little interesting. So what happened between the Cougars and the Gators? 31-26. The Cougars are your number 1 ranked team in the Continental Championship. They beat the Pittsburgh Gators 31-26. So how did the rest of the league do in the 11th game of the season? Nashville over Augusta 24-10. Texas over Dallas, 38-24. Tampa over Oklahoma City, 27-22. The Cougars over the Gators, as we just said, 31-26. The Convicts over Chicago, 38-9. And Phoenix over Austin, 36-16. So what does this mean? That means Texas at 6, Phoenix at 5, Tampa at 3, Connecticut at 4, Oklahoma City at 2, and Miami at 1. So Miami and Oklahoma City have the first week off. Tampa will face Texas in game 1, the Battle of the T's. So no matter what, a T team is going to get in. Or the Raiders! Nah, the Raiders won't get in. Probably not again next year either. Sorry for the shade. And so that means Phoenix will play Connecticut in the other play-in game to get into the Continental League semifinals. So that's how things have played out in the Continental League. Holy cow, it has been a wild and woolly season for the Sea Leaguers. Good on all the teams that were able to make it into the playoffs, and well-played season to those who just fell a little bit short. Well, that'll wrap things up for this week in the Simulation Leagues. Make sure you tune in to the UWFFL show
shut it off.
with
Shut
Jackson Tate, and he'll have a look
All right.
at
So Miami is the number 1 seed. They won, and Oklahoma City lost that last game. And so Miami's the 1, Oklahoma City's the 2. I mean, he just read it out there for you. But do we have the final? We can figure out the final standings based on that, right? Yeah. Okay, so we're gonna have, we got the first round playoffs of the Continental League, and now do we also have so what's going on in the Premier League? Well, in the Premier League, they're in the Final Four. It was Vancouver's playing Anchorage, and Little Rock is playing Motor City, I believe. All right, so Vancouver's playing Anchorage, and Little Rock is playing Motor City. So that's the 4 teams that are remaining there, and then you've got the relegation bowl. San Diego's playing Youngstown, I believe, and then also the promotion bowl. Now after they get the promotion bowl and the relegation bowl, we'll be set on Division 2, so we can go over all the what's left for for expansion. The teams want to bring new teams in, right? We'll know exactly how many teams are returning and how many spots and who's going to fill out the 48 teams. Yeah, we can talk about all that with Rob. I think right now we want to get the playoffs finished out here for these games. So, but I do have one more segment from that Abernathy show that I want to play. It's going to have. I think what we went ahead and we had one game of the semifinals done, and then the other one is still yet to play. So let's see if I can find that segment. All right, are you ready? You ready to play it now, or just give me a second? Why don't you talk golf or something for a minute? I'll try to find this. All right, well, Louis Oosthuizen's 10 under, and you got Dustin Johnson at 7 under, Spieth at 8, and Morikawa is up there as we get going into the weekend. I mean, I wasn't really prepared to talk golf, you just throw me in. I'm watching on the screen, they're replaying the second round from today, and I watched it. There was a nice tribute to Peter Allis, the late Peter Allis, passed away since the last British Open, And of course, he played for many years and commentated. He commentated for CBS Golf, but then also for the BBC on the Open Championship over there, and really well liked. I wasn't prepared to talk golf, so I would have had a whole set. Okay, I got it. All right. So what are you playing now? So this is a segment about the Premier League. All right, so here's Drew Abernathy with, I guess we'll find out what it is. More with the UWFFL Premier League.
So we've got a lot to get to within the UWFFL leagues. We have the semifinal action for the UWFFL Prims. We have the Promotion Bowl and the Relegation Bowl, which are taking place pretty soon. And also, let's see how things are going with the Union Cup. And here's Greg Dickman for your Union Cup Minute. Greg?
What? Whoops. Okay, well, obviously I don't have a Union Cup minute yet because we're trying to finish out the Continental League playoffs to see who's in the next round. So let's throw it back to Drew Abernathy. All right, with your Union Cup minute. Yeah. All right, calm down, Greg.
That was KDSF's very own Greg Dickman. Now that we've got the Union Cup all kind of set up to see how things are playing out for the rest of the Cup, now it's time to take a look at how things are playing out first in the UWFFL Division 2. The two teams they'll be facing off to see who gets promoted into the UWFFL Prims will be Yellowknife and Iowa. They will have a rematch from their Wally World Bowl from a few weeks ago. It'll be interesting to see if Iowa can reclaim that glory that they had over Yellowknife a few weeks ago, or if Yellowknife will have revenge in their mindset, just like they did against British Columbia, where they were able to hack down those lumberjacks that come from the Pacific Coast. Now, who's going to face off in the relegation bowl? This is the bowl that the winner will not be relegated and the loser will go down to D2 or the Continental League. The two teams that are facing off in Puerto Rico are the Youngstown Bobcats and the San Diego Storm. So the two teams facing off in Puerto Rico will be Youngstown and San Diego in the relegation bowl. Now, it's time to see who is going to go to the UWFFL Bowl 16. Well, you know that in one semifinal it's either going to be Anchorage or Vancouver, some team from the Pacific Northwest. Now, we have the final from Oklahoma City between Little Rock and Motor City. And the team that will be going to the UWFFL 16 Bowl is winning 27-16. It's the Little Rock Diamondbacks defeating Motor City Drive. That's right, your Little Rock Diamondbacks will be going to UWFFL Bowl 16 to face off against either the Anchorage Orcas or the Vancouver Seawolves. So congratulations to the Diamondbacks for making it this far, and also good on you, Motor City, for a season well played. And when we come back after the break, we will try to figure out the Gordian knot that is the Continental League. You're listening to This Week in the Simulation Leagues on the Sport Puck Radio Network, brought to you by Yeti's Himalayan Hut.
All right. So the Gordian knot, we already did the Continental League. So this is where we are. Little Rock is in the championship game in the Premier, and Anchorage is going to play Vancouver. And you've got Iowa and Yellowstone in the Promotion Bowl, San Diego and Youngstown in the Relegation Bowl, and then we've got the first playoffs of the Continental League, and then and I guess that's it. So we're gonna have Holecko in the studio here after this break, and I guess we better play a Yeti's commercial since he promoted that as the sponsor of the show we didn't do. So we're gonna get all that together, and coming up in the next segment, the UWFFL Commissioner Rob Holecko. Or what happened to your voice? I don't know, man.
Oh, is that what you were doing? I thought you were just having a nervous meltdown.
You're listening to the Dick Schaefer Show on 970 KDSF AM, your Dragon Sports Talk affiliate.
Hey,
Bigfoot, I'm starved too. Want to head on over to Yeti's? Yeah, their Alu Kali Ko Tarkari pulled pork is amazing. And don't forget their rattlesnake and partridge momo. And for a limited time, they have their crawfish momo available right now. You're right, Bigfoot. Don't forget your sides. Their cauliflower hush puppies and their 5-cheese Jito are to die for. So if you're in the mood for great Himalayan fusion food, then get on over to Yeti's Himalayan Hut. And tell them Bigfoot sent you.
.970 KDSF, your home for UWFFL and GSL and UWFFL coverage. So we're proud to be joined now by Mr. Robert Holecko. He is the commissioner of the UWFFL. And hello, sir. How's it going? Go ahead and have a seat right over there. Well, you've got a lot on your hands, don't you? Well, yeah, Dick, it's a pleasure to be here. I sure do. It's hard to be doing just my normal voice. I'm sorry, what's that? Nothing, never mind. So you're trying to get this 2020 fall season, and I know there's a lot going on, and I apologize for, members of our staff here who have been less than diligent, but no, it's okay, it's fine, I know. Hey, we do what we can. We do the best we can with what we got, right? Well, that's one of the sayings, and then it is what it is the other one, which I hear you like to use all the time. I do use that one, yes, sir. All right, so what are our goals here today, and what is the whole purpose of you called us up? You called up Stan Lockwood and said you wanted to come on the show and wanted to kind of just blow this all out of the water and figure it out so that. Why don't you just take it? First of all, anything that we did in the first couple segments, was that all accurate, correct? Did I misrepresent anything? What are you, Rachel Maddow now? No, everything was fine. Everything, you laid it out perfectly. We've got the Continental League is going into the playoffs now. You guys covered the final week. And so the 6 playoff teams are set. We need to go over the complete standings of the Continental League 1 through 12 so that we can seed those teams that missed the playoffs into the Union Cup at the proper. I know Dickman over there is getting ready to do the next round of the Union Cup, and we got to know which Continental teams are lining up where. And then, of course, we have to figure out the relegation and promotion bowls so that we know who are the teams that were returning to Division 2 and going to Division 2, and so we can set the alignments and get people ready to, if they want to submit any, we're not going to have much time, but we're going to be open for expansion teams, and then we have to fill out the 48 teams that will be in Division 2, and then we also have to keep going with the Premier League. And so actually the first announcement I want to make is next weekend. So next weekend, the GSL is playing their, this Sunday, the day after tomorrow, is the conference championships in the GSL. And then next week they have the redemption game, which I guess is the losers of the semifinals. And so that game will be on Saturday, July 24th. So on Sunday, July 25th, we are going to have our Gridiron Bowl. We're going to have the fall 2020, the premier, the UWFFL Bowl 16. Okay, will be on next Sunday, the 25th, and then on Saturday, the 31st, the day before Gridiron Bowl 1, we are going to have our Continental Bowl 1. All right, let me write this down. So we're going to have the UWFFL Bowl next Sunday, and then the Continental Bowl Saturday, July 31st. That's right. And we're going to do them live in real time, so teams will be able to submit their uniforms. That's the only other 2 games we're going to simulate everything else right here now, live today. All right, so let's talk about that, the simulation, how you do the simulation. Well, I don't want to go entirely into details. I'm going to explain a little bit of how we do it, and we're going to do them here today. But I do want to say that the simulation is I don't know what I was going to say. We're gonna do the simulate. We're gonna simulate these Continental Bowl playoff games, and now you got Little Rock in UWFFL Bowl 16, and we're gonna simulate the other semifinal, which is gonna be Vancouver and Anchorage, our defending champion Anchorage Orcas taking on the Vancouver Sea Wolves. That's gonna be in the other semifinal game, which we're going to do in a little while here. Okay, now when you say do a simulation, explain again for the viewers, the listeners who aren't familiar. When you say simulation, what do you? So these are real games. All right, well, let's not get hung up on simulation, not simulation, what that means. What we do is, see, the games are really being played. There are real players playing these games, and what we are doing is, think of it like the games are being played in another dimension that we don't have, like access, we don't see them. So what we're doing is we are mathematically simulating to find out, like, it is most likely this is how that game ended. Well, not most likely. I'm not even going to say most likely. I'm going to say you're doing a mathematical simulation to divine what the final score is of these games with these players actually playing. Well, that kind of makes sense. How about you, Greg? Do you get that? So it's kind of like if the games are on cable, a channel that you don't get on your cable, then you go on YouTube and watch it, or you try to find an illegal stream. Well, no. I mean, the games are. Let's just do them and we'll see. But first, now for you, Dickman, I know a big thing you want to do is get this Union Cup ready because you got a lot of work to do. And Alexei and the guys over there that are running the Union Cup, we got to get these final standings out so that we can seed these teams in this next round. So what I want to go over is now in the last segment, you guys played Drew Abernathy's rundown of this. So we know how Week 11 turned out. So we got the final standings. And so I just want to go over it again for you guys. Miami and Oklahoma City both finished at 9-2 by virtue of the tiebreaker. Miami defeated Oklahoma City in the regular season, so Miami will be the 1 seed. Oklahoma will be the 2 seed, so they both will get byes into the semifinals. Tampa and Connecticut both finished at 8-3, and by virtue of their tiebreaker, Tampa is now the 3 seed, and Connecticut's the 4 seed. And then Phoenix and Texas finish at 7-4, and by virtue of their tiebreaker, Phoenix is the 5 seed, and Texas is the 6 seed. So Texas will play at Tampa. I say at, but all the games are at the bubble site in Pontiac and Detroit. Okay, so Texas playing at Tampa, yeah, and Phoenix is playing at Connecticut. Now, Pittsburgh and Dallas both finished at 6-5, so by virtue of their regular season meeting, Dallas is the 7 seed, Pittsburgh is the 8 seed. Now, these teams are not in the playoffs, but this is their seeding for purposes of the Union Cup. Okay, so Dallas is the 7 seed, Pittsburgh's the 8 seed. Nashville and Chicago both finished 2-9, and Nashville defeated Chicago, so Nashville's the 9 seed, the Chicago Cyclones are the 10 seed, and then Augusta defeated Austin in Game 3 of the regular season, so they both finished 1-10. Augusta will be the 11 seed, and the Austin Rattlers will be the 12 seed. So hopefully we can seed those in and complete. And then now on the Union Cup, we got a lot of rounds to do, Greg. So after we put this out, we're going to do every other day. We're going to try to do a round of the Union Cup, at least until we get to where the GSL teams come in. Now you need to get with Austin, and so I heard there was some discussion about this before to figure out how we're going to simulate these GSL teams. What I need you to do is to get with him, and he needs to prepare for you a weighted description of not description, but a weighted a rating for each team on a scale of 0 to 100. Now, 100 not being the best team, but 100 needs to be like absolute perfection, and 0 needs to be absolute imperfection. The worst, like if you lost every game in a shutout, you would be 0. And it's of their weighting, not of their performance. Because like if a team overperformed or underperformed, we want to know how good that team really is. So I'm assuming the Pennsylvania Keystones are the best team. That doesn't mean the rating would be 100. It needs to be weighted from 0 to 100, but maybe Pennsylvania is 92 or whatever. Whatever would be and then the worst team, which probably your Atlanta Flying Fleet, hey, they won a couple games at the end. They went 4-15. 15 is not great, but I think they weren't the worst team. But anyway, the worst team might be like a 9, and the best team might be 92. It doesn't mean 0 to 100 where the best team is 100. So we need to get a weighted so that I can extrapolate them into the UWFFL ratings. And again, the Premier League is the top tier, and then Division 2 and Continental League are at 60% of the top tier, and La Liga goes from like 30 to 90. I did mathematically work it out at one point. And so now for the simulation, we do it totally different than... Now, do we have time in this segment? Do you want me to go on into the sim? Yeah, no, we got all the time in the world. Just you take as much time as you need. I want to get this down because a lot of people are curious about how this simulation works. Okay, so are you familiar with a bell curve? Well, it's a curve. It's in the shape of a bell, right? Right, okay, but statistically, okay, like if you roll one die, you have a chance... And it doesn't matter whether you're actually doing die or you're simulating it on the computer. But if you roll one die, it's a 1 in 6 chance of being a 1 or a 2 or a 3 or a 4 or a 5 or a 6. But if you roll 6 die, okay, it's more likely that it's going to be a number in the middle. So the total, if you rolled 6 sixes, you'd have 36. And if you roll 6 ones, you'd have 6. So the lowest or highest you could get would be 6 or 36. But there's only one chance of it being a 6 or a 36. You have to roll exactly 1, 1, 1, 1, 1. All right? So if you roll 6 die, it's probably going to be like a 1 and a 3 and a 4 and a 2 and a 5. And it's probably going to add up to something in the middle, like 24. Okay? So if you roll 6 die 1,000 times, the results are going to be in a bell curve where the 1s and the 36s are extremely rare, but the numbers more in the middle are less rare. Are more likely, okay? And the highest likelihood is in the middle. All right, so what does this have to do with anything? Okay, so we simulate all of our... Okay, so what we did was, we have every team, every NFL score is... Every NFL team is A through H, okay? The top 4 teams, there's 32 teams in the NFL. We took every quarter-by-quarter NFL score back to 1970, and I put them in spreadsheets, and I've got 64 spreadsheets. Okay? Okay, so the top 4 teams, which would be in this past season, the Kansas City Chiefs, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, the Green Bay I can't remember exactly who, but the top 4, just based on regular season, we didn't include the playoffs or whatever. It might not have been the Tampa Bay Buccaneers because they were the wild card. The Saints won that division. But it was the top 4 teams. That I know Green Bay and Kansas City were 2 of them. So the top 4 teams are the A teams, and then all the way down to the bottom 4 teams are the H teams. So every team is an A, a B, a C, a D, an E, an F, a G, or an H. Okay? Okay, so there's 8 tiers of the NFL teams. Okay, yeah, I'm going all the way back to 1970. I took every quarter-by-quarter score. Okay, so I have 64 spreadsheets that are A versus H. A at H, or A versus A with A home team or A B team, and then or just A at B or B at A or A at C and C at A and A at D and D at A. This is what I was doing February, March. This is why it took so long to get started, because every night I was typing in a whole bunch of scores into a spreadsheet, into 64 different spreadsheets that were A. All right, I'm getting very confused here, but so basically what I do is I just roll dice, or I simulate dice actually on a Google sheet, and it rolls a number, and it picks a number, and we roll 6 dice, so we're simulating a number. So the outliers are at the outliers, and so those are less likely, and then the more likely scores are in the middle, and they're not the random, and then I have multiple ones for each one, and we reorganize them, and then we pick one before we're going to do a simulation. Okay, and so the teams have, and then every simulated team is placed in this ranking, and you basically just rank them A, B, 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 C, 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 C. And so if Miami's playing Oklahoma City, and I'm not going to give away who is what letters or what, because, I mean, there's a lot of randomness. See, the main thing about simulating a football, you don't want it to be total random, because you don't want like a really bad team just as likely to beat a really good team. You want the good teams to beat the good teams most of the time, but you want there to be a chance that the bad team upsets. And then I have about 8 different factors also. We have a random adjustment each year, and then we have an adjustment throughout the season based on... Again, I'm not here to release the whole minutiae, every detail of it. I'm just explaining. Overall, there's a lot of adjustments. I looked at NFL season, how much teams change from year to year. Okay, and so over the course of I went all the way back to 1921 for this part. Every team, how many games they won from 1924 to 1925 or 1946 to 1947, every change. And what was the average, and what was the mean, and what was the outlier? I always looked at 80%. Okay, it's like the middle 80%. So the bottom 10% and the top 10% I threw out, and I always looked at the mean, the middle 80%. And I looked at, and so I had an average of teams, the range that the middle 80% of teams changes in a given year. They generally either at the worst go down X amount of games or go up X amount of games. So then every year we're going to randomize. So like each team's going to have a random factor of change from season to season from what last season's rating was. And then there's also a factor of throughout the season. You look at how much teams have gotten better. So basically, if you play 16 games in a year or 12 games in a year or whatever it is, I set a number of what is the most a team wants to progress throughout a season, and I decided to set it at 20%. Okay, and so whenever you win, like statistically, even if it's and this is I'm getting very much on an aside here, and so if we have to take a break, I understand. Let me know. But statistically, any win is overperforming, and any loss is underperforming, because if two teams are evenly matched, then likely you got like a 50 or a 51% chance of winning or whatever. But if it's a mismatch where it's a really good team against a really bad team, it's still, let's say this team has an 86% chance of likelihood of winning and the other team has a 14%. Still, if you win, that's 100%. So any win is you are outperforming the likelihood of winning, and any loss you are underperforming. So basically, I adjust it, and then if you play 16 games, I do 16 over 20%, so 1.6%. So every time you win, your rating goes up 1.6, and every time you lose, it goes down, or whatever the number. I'm just giving an example here, and then depending on how many games are in that game season, whether it's 11-game season like we did this year, or a 14-game season, or a 16-game season, or whatever, and then you base it on what percentage of migration. That category is called migration. So every team's rating will migrate. And so the effect that this has is that if a team wins 3 games in a row, they're actually getting better. So what it does is it is taking into account a team having momentum. If a team loses 3 games, then the rating will have gone down for 3 weeks, and they will essentially be getting worse. So hopefully this is going to replicate real performance of teams. You guys are just staring at me with like just a blank look right now. Oh no, this is very interesting. It's very interesting. We do need to take a break now, and we're going to come back and do these simulations, I guess. But I got to take all this in. I just got to think for a second. But so we're here with Rob Holecko, the commissioner of the UWFFL on the Dick Schaefer Show, and we'll be back after this with some, I guess, with some simulations. Yeah, that's right, some simulations. We'll be back on the Dick Schaefer Show. You're listening to 970 KDSF, your home for Giants Federation and Rainfire. Oh, crap, I did it again. Your home for GSL and UWFFL action. Wow, that's a lot to take in.
Ahoy me hearties, it be matey Paisley Pete for the Fiddler's Green of Footwear, Davy Jones Footlocker. Let go and haul the winds of fortune to the shop where you'll find the best in fine footwear. They be having the best in deck shoes, peg legs and boots that'll fit ye budgie whether ye be having a king's ransom or a pinch gut pay. Afore ye be sailing anywhere else, show a leg, wind a course and heave ho toward the fairest footwear shop on the 7 seas. Davy Jones Footlocker, they be yar.
All right, we're back on 970 KDSF, your home for Giants Federation Rain. Why do I keep doing that? Or you've been saying it for so long, man. All right. But I mean, like, it's been March since we changed it. All right, 970 KDSF, your home for GSL and UWFFL coverage. Again, tomorrow afternoon will be Sunday afternoon will be the GSL semifinals in the Western Conference Championship. The Arizona Eagles will be taking on the Memphis Comets in Arizona, and the earlier game, the Pennsylvania Keystones, will be hosting the Norfolk Commanders, and I'm going to have my picks of those two games here by the end of this show if we have time for it. But right now, we're going to do some football. Are you ready for some football? That's what they say. So we're simulating football, but we're simulating real football. It's not like imaginary, like we're just rolling dice, but we are. We're simulating football, but we're simulating real football. We're not simulating like pretend football, right? I mean, yeah, that's probably the best way to say it. Okay, so are we going to do the Continental, or you want to go ahead and do this? Well, let's do the Promotion Bowl and the Relegation Bowl. All right, so the Promotion Bowl, we have. Okay, so Florida won the championship game over Iowa, correct? That's right. Florida has been promoted, so they will get one spot. The winner of the Continental League Championship will get the third spot. The second spot will go to this winner of the Promotion Bowl. So the losers of the loser of the championship game and the winner of the third place game will play in the Promotion Bowl. I'm sorry, we're just looking to pull this up here. Okay, so we got Iowa Corn lost to the Florida Gecko. So Iowa's playing Yellowknife in the Promotion Bowl. Yellowknife beat Steel City in the third place game. I'm sorry, that's what I meant. So. I tell you, you got a lot to figure out here, don't you? Yeah, I'm just trying to keep it all straight. Okay, and then the San Diego Storm are playing the Youngstown Bobcats. These two teams went 9th and 10th or 10th and 11th, I guess. And San Francisco finished 12th. Now, San Francisco was the 2004 TBFFL champions, so by virtue of that, they are they're going to the Continental League, right? That's right. That's what I'm trying to say. They are a charter team, a past champion. So they will go into the Continental League. And so this year there will be one team going into the Continental League because both San Diego and Youngstown are not charter teams. The loser of this relegation bowl will go back to a regular Division II league. So if it's the Youngstown Bobcats, if they lose, they'll probably go to the Central League. If the San Diego Storm lose, they will probably go to the Pacific Coast Conference. But it will all determine on the geography of the 48 teams that make Division II next year. So that's the two games we're going to simulate now. Okay, so what I do is I take my spreadsheets and I go into the tab. Now they're all on the computer here. You guys can't really see it, but so basically I have a spreadsheet in front of me which has which corresponds to the ratings of San Diego and Youngstown, and I have a whole bunch of numbers on this thing, and it corresponds to the dice roll. Well, the simulation, the whatever the simulation gives us will tell us and these are all based on quarter by quarter scores of NFL games. All right. I mean, I'm interested to see. I guess it's going to be kind of anticlimactic because you're just going to tell us some numbers. I mean, pretty much. Okay, so well, go ahead. Let's simulate. So what are we doing first? The relegation bowl? Yeah, San Diego and Youngstown, the San Diego Storm and the Youngstown Bobcats. And see, what you do is you click here where it says random, and then you just refresh this cell, and then it picks one, and then you got these numbers. So you see there's a 3 and a 0. So that means that San Diego scored 3 points in the first quarter, and Youngstown scored 0. And then you do it again, and then so it's a 7 and a 7, and so it's 10-7. And then you do it again. Okay, and then you do it again. And so Should I do a drum roll? No, I'm just trying to add it up in my head. I got a lot going on in my head. I'm trying to figure this out. So 3707. So they scored 17, and then 0-7-13-0. So they scored 20. So Youngstown won 20-17. I'm doing this live is kind of tricky because I don't want to screw it up. But if I do it again, it's going to be all different numbers because that's how simulating is. So you kind of have to. It's kind of better not to do it live because I don't want to screw anything up, and I don't want anybody to think that this is. Well, I mean, it was legit, right? You picked the numbers, and the numbers were the numbers, right? Yeah, they are. I got a cold right now, so we're trying.
What the hell are you guys doing? You guys are just screwing around with the computer, and people's lives are at stake.
All right, so 20-17. So I tell you what, we're going to simulate these all off the air, and then we're going to come back, and I'm going to have all the results for you. But so Youngstown won over the San Diego Storm, 20-17. So Youngstown is returning to the Premier League in 2021, and San Diego will be relegated to the Division II. All right, well, if that's what you say, then I guess that's what we're going to do. All right, so we'll be back, and we'll try to get this fiasco underway, under control here. But we'll have the results for all the rest of this stuff in this next segment, or maybe the next show. We'll just put this back. Yeah, let's put out a separate show. We're going to put this out right now. How about this? You do your commercial break and then come back and give your picks, because I don't know when this is going to get out Sunday morning. I want you to get it out before the GSL games are played. So we'll wrap this on this next segment. You'll have one more segment to pick your GSL semifinals, and then we'll put out another episode with the rest of the simulation. But so what we've decided today is we've released the Continental League final standings, and we've done the relegation bowl champion, the Youngstown Bobcats, and all the rest will be in the next. But that should be enough for Dickman. You could get working on the next round, get with Alexi and figure out who's playing in the Union Cup in the next round, and go ahead and knock that out. And we'll try to get that out in another day, but we'll try to get this out by Sunday morning. Try to get the thing out by Monday, and then we'll try to get the rest of this simulation here that we're doing. We'll try to do the next part of that, episode 7, on Tuesday. So this is episode 5, I believe, and you can do a 5.5 Union Cup, which will be the next round of the Union Cup, and then we'll get the rest of this will be in episode 6, and we'll try to get that out Monday or Tuesday or as soon as we can, okay?
Aye, sir.
All right, I guess that sounds good. So I guess he's telling me what I'm doing on my show. We'll be back after this with my GSL semifinal picks. You're listening to, I guess, the Dick Schaefer show or the Rob Holecko show or whatever the hell show this is. But, boy, getting a little salty there. Well, I mean, you're kind of taking over the whole damn thing. I know you run the league, but you don't run the network, too. It's KDSF 970. I need an antihistamine.
You're listening to the Dick Schaefer Show on 970 KDSF AM, your Dragon Sports Talk affiliate.
A miracle, ye say?
What are you at, boss? I'm in a tight spot, boss, tighter than a duck's arse.
Look what the tide washed in. Patty, my buck, how's she cutting?
Best kind, my buddy. How's the missus?
Oh, they're fine. Dad's away to Greenville at the hospital. We're hoping he'll come home soon. We need to be finding Clown an antidote to his cereal, not reminiscing.
She's some piece of gear. Who's that?
Oh, this is Mariska. We met on OK COVID. Before we put rudder into water, Patty, my nipper, how are you able to be finding we?
Don't be talking. There's some clowns shagging around on the internet trying to murder people, my buddy said.
Miracle number 1? You said that we need miracles. Plural. Miracles, plural.
Yes, we have antidote. Now we need...
A tracker. Goose said you made on OK COVID. Some arse on you, Marishka.
Roy.
My buddy said that fella Crinkles told you to come by for a time on the COVID app.
Miracle 2 coming on up.
Yes, boy, drew me old trout. Me buddy found a way to reverse the signal from the OK COVID app. You got her scald.
You're betting he isn't using burner phone.
We're probably betting he's a sociopath and still using his phone so as to us finding him.
He would make a terrible agent.
But he's deadly at reeling you in.
Aye, he already done in Drew and Jake once. I said I didn't go to the light.
Boys, here's the deal. Just plug it into your phone like this, look. Now you got her knocked.
So what do you call this doohickey thingy anyway?
It's the plot hole device. Like I said, some hole in you.
Ooh, much obliged, me hearty. Well, what are ye black-hearted bilge rats waiting for? Raise anchor, fasten the main brace, and lower the sails. We have a jackbooted jester to be catching.
Good seeing Paisley takes his job serious, hey boy.
Thanks so much, Patty.
Alright boys, over and out.
You would also draw your jam, a well-balanced breakfast featuring my murder-coated rice puffs and sugar crinkles. The taste you'll kill for.
You remember that Bobbert said the cereal had no effect on him?
Well, yeah. Here, Jake, eat a stick of Newfoundland chalk. We don't need to take any chances.
Well, I've had worse.
.970 KDSF, your home for GSL and UWFFL coverage. You got it right that time. Yeah. Yeah, we're working on an hour here, so we need to wrap this puppy up. As the man said in the last segment, that was your commissioner there, Rob Holecko. I guess he's going to be with us again to continue wrapping this up. But as he said, I guess I'm going to bring you my GSL semifinal picks. This Sunday, the Pennsylvania Keystones will be hosting the Norfolk Commanders, and the Arizona Eagles will be hosting the Memphis Comets. Now, do we have point spreads on this game? Hold on a second. I'll go look in the forum. Go ahead and vamp some more. Well, I mean, I'm trying to wrap this show up, so let's not vamp too much. But we got GSL Rumor Mill playoff bracket for display on the website. Game Day Arts. Uniform field off-season schedule, Diesel new name, colors, submission, possible stadiums, division championship gear, building a better simulation. Yeah, see, they're like the top-rate stuff, and then Rob, with it, no offense, but it's kind of like second-rate, but that's okay. The GSL, it's all a different. It's just different, and it's fine. Let's try this thread that's GSL playoffs, and see what. Do we have point spreads? Okay, here we go. San Antonio was okay, that's the wild card. Maybe it's all in this one thread. I think it's all in this one thread. Q Carrie Underwood. Dun, 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 dun. They had us in the first half, I'm not going to lie. This is good. I haven't been following any of this, I got to admit. Okay, here we go. Pennsylvania is a 13.5-point favorite against Norfolk. And Arizona is a 0.5-point favorite against Memphis. Arizona started out strong in the year. They were 5-0, I believe, at one point, and then they went through a little bit of a slump, and they came back, and so they have home field advantage here for the Western Conference Championship game. But let's go to Pennsylvania and Norfolk. Norfolk has been up and down. I think I'm going to take... Now, I'm picking it with the spread, right? You do whatever you want, but, I mean, if you just pick Pennsylvania straight up, that's going to be kind of lame. All right, I'm going to take 13. I'm going to take Pennsylvania to cover the spread, and then I'm going to take Memphis to upset to cover the 0.5 point they got to cover. So, I mean, that's basically a pick-em if it's 0.5 point, because if they win by 1, they cover. So, I'm going to go with Memphis and Pennsylvania to cover. And so, it's Memphis plus 0.5 and Pennsylvania minus 13. And that's your picks, and that's our show, and God help us. But we will be back whenever we're back, I guess, with some more simulation stuff. And Greg Dickman will be around someday with a Union Cup minute to get us going. A quick minute. All right, so this is for Greg Dickman and for Whitney Johnson, who we didn't do any sports updates because I guess we just totally forgot about doing that as well because, who the hell knows anymore. So this is Dick Schaefer saying have a good evening and enjoy the British Open, the NBA Finals, your GSL Championship weekend games, and whatever else is this weekend. And have a fun weekend unless you have other plans. It just kind of ended with a thud, I know.
This has been a Sport Puck Network special presentation.
This podcast is a production of the Sport Puck Network, located at the intersection of sports, music, and double entendres. Find us on the web